Now, I know that you've obviously got these awards, and we'll get to those, but I know that valuing quality systems is really important to Pro Inso. So, could you explain a little bit about what makes you different in terms of that?
Yeah, sure. Good question. Yeah, I mean, in terms of value, I think as a company, we've always wanted to be at the forefront of this clean energy revolution, and we believe a big part of it is in decentralized energy, which is going to be the future. Um, so I think there's four aspects which we tend to focus on in all through the business and our business model and our communications with customers, which ultimately for us we want to add value. So I would say the first aspect would be, we like to have very strong local partners. So we pride ourselves in having local expertise in the markets where we operate. So if you look at our markets in Southeast Asia, we have very strong, highly experienced local teams, which they know the processes, they know the culture, they know the regulatory framework in these markets. So I think that's a big part of us ultimately being able to give value to our customers and stakeholders in the value chain. So that's the first part. I would say the second part would be more in terms of our values and our kind of our teams aspect, where we like to encourage a type of entrepreneurial spirit in our teams. So over the last decade, we've on a company level and also on an individual level, we've always adapted to market changes, adapted to the competitive landscape in markets. So we encourage that to be adapt and to react quickly to different changes in the market. But yeah, that combined with extensive risk management, I think ultimately gives us a good platform to be able to add value to our customers.
And so, what brought you to this company, or what was your journey into this industry as a whole?
Yeah, I've had a not your most straightforward career path actually. So I'm from UK, England. I was born and raised in Bristol, southwest of England. So um, I did my university degree in Cardiff, which is, if you don't know, is a place in Wales. I've always been interested in sustainable development. My undergrad degree was in sustainable development and urban planning at Cardiff. I've then had an opportunity to move to Hong Kong through sport, actually. So
Ah,
my first kind of opportunity to move to Hong Kong was through sport. So I did just play sport for a little while, had a great time,
can I ask what
and then
sport?
rugby is my main was my main sport was
Mhm.
keyword being was, but yeah, and then after a couple of years playing sport, I did a master's at Hong Kong U in Hong Kong in China's development and environmental policy. And then I started my professional career, I guess, working for a small solar energy installer in Hong Kong. So we basically worked with lots of the primary schools here,
Mhm.
installing solar systems on their rooftops. I remember I was actually up myself fixing in inverters. So a lot has changed since then. Um, and then, yeah, after a couple of years working for a small installer, which was actually a subsidiary of Proenso at the time, I
Ah,
was then employed directly with Proenso. So I've been working for Proenso for 9 years now. So and now I'm glad to say I've managed to work my way up, I guess, and I manage our markets across Southeast Asia and Asia Pacific. So yeah,
that's
I mean, I've
awesome.
always had a passion. Yeah, yeah,
And it's great, you've gone from, I suppose it's not ground level, from roof level um,
yeah,
into
quite
the
literally.
industry further. Yeah, yeah.